So I thought we could talk about, do a more focused episode on self-development. I know we talk about it a lot, to be fair, but I just thought it'd be interesting to just talk about it in one episode. And because I do think that in terms of like making better work, which we all want to do, that is the key to it. Because you can't say what you don't know. So, yeah, for me, and I'm in the middle of writing significant works at the moment as well. So I wanted to like just give as much value as I possibly could, because I do think that's what this show is. And I was just thinking back to like what just a terrible job I used to have, and I used to listen to podcasts about music, and it got me through some really dark periods of my life. So, you know, I just want to give back. So, yeah, thinking about work, thinking about what we're working on and why we're working on it. And maybe we can't answer why, but I do think at the root of everything is the growth of us as individuals, because you learn and you change. So I thought, yeah, what do you reckon? Talk about that?
I feel a bit silly.
Hey?
I feel a bit silly.
Yeah, I feel a bit out of it as well. What's going on? Yeah.
I'm just really conscious of the sound of my gulping when I have
Don't worry
a
about
sip
it.
of coffee.
Coffee's great.
On that last episode, I could hear us gulping, and I know some people are sensitive to that. There's a word for it.
It's called great coffee. Yeah, it's nice.
So self-development.
Yeah, so what do you do then?
What do I do?
Yeah, just give a daily breakdown or like a weekly breakdown of what you're up to with it.
Well, a bit like the creative process, this is something that is always changing and developing, and I'm finding new tools and practices. I still don't know. Same with writing. I don't know what I'm doing, just generally.
Yeah. No one does.
And I still don't know how to write a story. I still don't know what the fuck I'm doing. So that's important to note. But I find new ways of doing things all the time, and I'm open to that. You know, I'm open to that information. I'm also, I think having a beginner's mind is really important for me with everything. So, yeah, those are just, you know, caveats with this stuff. So what I'm using at the moment is transcendental meditation, which I've been doing for 10 years. So that's twice a day, 20 minutes meditation. It's very simple. It's a bit of a culty organisation, I guess. I hope I'm not going to get libel crimes put against me for saying that. I mean,
it's only if you spill the beans on the technique because you signed an NDA.
Oh, right. I'm not allowed to say
You're not allowed to say what the technique is.
About the technique,
No.
which seems a bit silly, but
well,
fine. It's been very useful for me.
So how has it been useful? What has it been useful for?
So when I started doing TM, I was pretty much completely shut down and dissociated like 90% of the time. And I knew that something was really missing for me in my life, and that I needed a way in to this other world that I knew existed because I could feel it. and I lived in that world when I was a child, and all I did was in my spare time when I was a child was like creativity. I loved it. I just lived for making stuff, and it just made me so happy. And I was on my own like most of the time when I was a child. When I wasn't in school, and I was completely happy being on my own in my own little bubble, making stuff and
Little
learning.
Jade
Little Jade
with the colouring book,
watching a lot of TV and stories, reading. So I kind of wanted to get back to that, the spirit of that. I didn't know this consciously when I'm saying all of this. I just knew there was something, and I knew that I needed to get to it somehow. It sounds quite abstract, and it's hard to describe because when you're in it, it's all feelings and abstractions and in intuition, which isn't really doesn't feel logical a lot of the time. Anyway, I was a big fan of David Lynch, and I knew that he did TM, and he wrote a book about it, and I read that book. I actually listened to the audiobook of it while I was in my old day job, and I just felt transformed just from listening to it. And I was like, okay, this is what I need. So I went and learned TM after that. And yeah, it opened the door for me a little bit into this other world. And it eventually led to me starting to write again and starting to open myself up to, the word spiritual is so loaded. And I know a lot of people really hate that word and judge you just for using that word. I was literally in a meeting with someone the other day who was like being really judgmental about someone who had used the word spiritual. So I know it's
self-development.
Yeah,
Seems
self-development
a little bit more
and this unknowable world that is there, but we don't really, again, the word belief, like believe in air quotes, in the West, because we're so, I don't know, materialist. So yeah, that opened me up to that place and to that energy. I got all the creative energy that I had lost back. But for me, TM isn't really enough on its own.
So what else have you been doing then?
It's a great technique, and it does help with mental health stuff as well. But I found that I needed to add other stuff to it, because for me, somatic techniques are like the most powerful thing that I can do. And by that, I just mean techniques that involve body movement and becoming aware of the body and all of the systems.
So Tantra, Kundalini work now we're talking about.
I'm just talking about me realizing my body again. Just becoming aware of it as a thing that I could use to help me grow. So I've tried different kinds of yoga. I did Kundalini for a year or a couple of years. I went through that doing it every day because that's how you're meant to use Kundalini. There are set amounts of days that you're supposed to just do like one practice. And that was really beneficial. And then, recently I found tantric yoga, which is a bit more intensive and kind of you're using breathing a lot more. That's one thing that I found was missing from Kundalini, was real control over the breath. And through Tantra, I've just been learning how to breathe properly, basically, because most of us are just not really using our lungs to their full capacity. It's a lot of it is about unblocking different parts of the body and allowing your energy to just move in its natural way, its natural flow. So that's what I'm doing at the moment.
So how is that helping, like, your work and your life? Like, what does it do?
I have more awareness, which sounds kind of basic, but I can just see a lot more of myself and also the world, and other people, which has its drawbacks as well, as an autistic person who's highly sensitive, because it can be quite overwhelming. And it does get overwhelming sometimes doing this kind of work, because you're just letting in a lot of stuff and widening your awareness. So I have to be very grounded with it and get a lot of rest with it as well, and recovery time. But yeah, that's the main thing, really, that awareness and just the connection to something deeper. It makes me feel a lot more stable, because I just feel like I have this thing running through me that you might call like the higher self or God or whatever you want to call it, that is always there, that is kind of watching over me and grounding me. And yeah, it just makes me feel like I can handle anything, basically, doing this kind of work. And obviously it's still difficult as well. You have a lot of stuff come up from the past that you have to sort of work through and unblock, and that unblocking and letting go can be painful, but I always just have my breath to come back to, which is really powerful. And yeah, it just gives me that grounding that I really need. I don't really know how it's impacted my work. It's difficult for me to see as I'm in
Yeah,
it.
but I mean, how is writing different than it was 2 years ago for you as a practice?
It's more joyous.
Yeah.
Everything
Okay.
is more joyous, I would say. More joy and more bliss.
Letting go of blocks and things like that.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Nice.
What about you? What do you do?
At the moment, I've been doing ceremonial magic for a couple of years, which I ran into a really amazing book by Damien Eccles called High Magic, and magic spelled Magick. It's a distinction between what, as Westerners, we see magic without the K on the end, with the C, as being tricks, but this is not tricks. It's like real magic. So yeah, I've been doing that. That book was really life changing. So I've been doing that for a couple of years, maybe more than 2 years, maybe 4 years. So I do that in the morning. I've got and in the evening I open it. You kind of like do these rituals to like cleanse the room of like negative vibrational energy, and then you can pull fresh energy into the room and absorb it. And then in the evening I close it. I do a closing ceremony, so opening, closing every day. Excuse me. And then I have done TM, and I do meditate every evening as well, although the type of meditation that I do changes, and it's become more of an adaptable practice. So I can't tell you exactly what it is, but I do sit for 15 to an hour every evening. I don't know how long it is. I don't time it, but sometimes it will be longer, sometimes shorter. Sorry, I got a frog. Have you got you not? No. Okay, fair enough. Getting high on the caffeine. I feel really buzzed after that. What else? Oh yeah, Tantra. So yeah, me and Jade have been doing this book called The Jewel in the Lotus, which has been yeah, you mentioned it, but amazing. which is more energy work. So yeah, like a combination of those things, and also reading. I'm reading some like really intensive books, like the Raw Material, the Law of One, and I'm sort of near the end now of A Course in Miracles, which is like they're like coaching books in a way. They're kind of hard to get to. Like I don't know if they're for everyone. You have to be in the right place for them. And it's taken like all of the books that I've read up until now to be able to like sit and like really read it, because it's hard. Like it's definitely challenging. So everyone's different. Everyone has a different path, and different things will work for you. These are the things I found that work for me, but there is no bad practice in terms of meditation. But the books have given me a lot of growth. I mean, really changed me and really changed the way that I see reality as being and how I understand reality to be. And it's been great to, I've finishing my album, like I keep talking about, Invisible Friends, and that's out in 2026. I don't know when you're listening to this, but yeah, it will be around in 2026 if you want to check it out. And the thing is that like I wrote that a year ago, really, and I've just been mixing it and doing vocals, and like the process of engineering and production takes time to get it. It's just a long process. So I'm finishing that, and that is conceptually around my dreams, right? Essentially, I wrote down my dreams every morning. It's a really good practice to get into. A lot of people say, "Oh, I don't remember my dreams," or "I don't dream." It's like, no, you have to actively go after remembering them. Like, and a great way to do it is as soon as you wake, I'll do my stretches and then I'll go and write what the dream was. So I've got a couple of big books now full of dreams, like, and Invisible Friends mostly was written out of things that came to me in dreams, mostly. So like, what's the difference between an artist's album that they've written and then the following year they write another album? What's the difference, right? Because I think as artists we're always trying to reach for something new, to reinvent ourselves. And so I've been writing another album, and essentially it's a different thing to what the first one was. It's not my first album, I've done a bunch of them, but under different names. So what's the difference? Because it can be really boring listening to albums of artists who don't grow, for me personally anyway. I was listening to I've gone through all the Chemical Brothers albums recently, and they're sort of the same. Like, not to diss it, like it's cool and everything, but like if you listen to the last album that they put out and then an album they put out 15 years ago, they're not that different really. They've still got this psychedelic rock edge with like techno and dance music and sampling. They're still kind of doing the same thing. So for me, I really want my albums to really jump, like from one thing to another. It's part of the reason I do vocals. And I think looking at the self-development, meditation, and yoga and energy work and breathing and breath have all led me towards being a singer. I never thought I would be. Never. No way. And now I'm a singer, and I'm really loving it, actually, for the first time. So without getting sober, I don't think I would have been able to do that. And I've been sober 5 years now, and the meditation and energy work and the self-development got me to become sober, really. So
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. That's another thing for me too.
yeah,
It's definitely helped
yeah,
on the journey with getting sober, because it just opens up a lot of space that used to be closed off, because using alcohol and drugs just closes it off to you, and numbs. Well, at least that's the way I was using it, was to kind of numb myself. So yeah, you're just shutting so many doors by doing that. And I guess one of my goals is to live without addiction, and that was a part of that path that I'm on, that I've been on. And yeah, just clearing space, giving up sugar as well, refined sugar. And that's another thing that's, I think, helped my energy levels generally to be less erratic, because I had a sugar addiction since I was a child, and I just couldn't see how much it was dominating my life and my process and everything, really. So I think, yeah, taking stuff away and seeing what difference that makes, adding in new things, like adding in new practices and just seeing the difference that makes, I think is a really good way to go about it. And also for me, just keeping track of all that. I have a diary where I just write down how I've been doing each day, mental health, emotional health, physical health. And I like to just keep scores of everything, because that's just how I like to kind of obsessively monitor what's going on, and see if I can notice patterns.
But who's the monitor of the monitor? So, it's a good joke. It's enemy of the state coming in. Sorry to interrupt.
But yeah, I think, like you were saying, just blending different techniques and seeing what kind of ratio works for you is the best way. Because I sometimes throw in some more psychology-based things as well.
Like what? What example?
Well, I mean, the work I'm doing with parts,
What's the book called?
No Bad Parts,
Okay.
and it's about IFS, which is internal family systems, which is a type of therapy, but there's a lot that you can do yourself, because you're really just going in and talking to different parts of yourself and working with them and letting them know that it's safe. So I guess that is a psychological technique, but it just definitely has a spiritual side to it as well, I think. So yeah, I guess it's just about seeing what works. And as you probably noticed, we are both very like self-healer type people who, like to get stuck into things in a self-directed way. And I know that not everyone is like that. You might need the support of therapists or coaches or whatever, as well.
You do need support.
Yeah, of course, we all need support. And I guess there are benefits to having someone else there to guide you through things. But for me, I just like to have practices that I've integrated like into my routine, because I just find that the most effective. Having something that I do like at the same time every day, and then noticing the difference that it makes, is just way more powerful for me than like speaking to a therapist once every fortnight or whatever.
Yeah, whatever works for you. There's not like something that is better and something that is worse. It's everyone has their own path, and like what works for me or what works for Jade might not work for you. But I think it's just a case of like, if you want to grow and you want to make great work, which is a great thing to look at. I mean, I can definitely measure my success in my own development through the type of music that I'm making, because it becomes more and more me. Like, it becomes more and more bold and confident and unapologetic, and it just becomes, I just get to know me more than before, and I can measure that through the authenticity and emotion and storytelling and the willingness to humiliate myself, really, by singing and by doing vocal tech warm-ups so everyone can hear me. And
Well, I think when you look back on old work, you can see how much you were dominated by insecurity, and like a lot of the decisions that you were making in your creative process were just insecure, or because you just didn't know, or you didn't know yourself, or the process,
Yeah.
or you didn't have an intention going into, like, you just notice all of this stuff that was missing when you look back. And I do think that self-development really helps you to deal with all of that stuff.
Yeah, and the sort of the creative industry, or the creative collective of people and people doing that type of thing, is just full of insecurities and I am not enoughness. So, I mean, I just think back to going to university, man. Everyone was just like terrified. But I do think like it is one of those fields, like creative, if that everyone just is so insecure, and if you want something that can help with that, then meditation and energy work and breathing patterns and things like that are amazing. One of the things that I have given up is a sort of I'm still in process of this, is just letting go of like how things happen out of my control. And that's always been a real big thing for me. That's caused me a lot of pain and suffering. And I enjoy the process so much more. And I just don't give a fuck as much about like what other people think, because it's, people are going to criticize you and they're going to criticize what you do. And it's like letting go of perfectionism was another thing that's happened recently, which has just been like an amazing thing, because now I can do imperfect things, and that's okay, because to be honest, I'd rather do things that are imperfect. I'd rather my work to be flawed. And I can just really own that. If anyone says, "Oh, why did you mix it like that?" It's like, well, because that's the decision I made, and I love it. I think because a lot in the past, people have been like, "Oh, well, you can't do it that way," and I'm like, "Oh, fuck, you can't do it that way? Oh no, shit, I better learn how to do it." But now I'm like, I do it my way. I'll do my marketing my way. I'll do my writing my way. And if you don't like it, that's fine. I'm not trying to get you to like me. It's just that this is how this works for me. So,
Yes, that's one thing that's always going to be there, isn't it? People telling you that you're doing it wrong, or judging you, or
because they're scared,
being negative about it, or whatever.
Exactly, they're scared. So, I think the aim is to let go of fear altogether, within our creative fields, but also within our lives, right? I don't know. Do you want that?
And just surrendering, like you were saying. I think the more you can surrender in your creative process, the better your work will be. And like the less you're sort of trying to control everything, just allowing it to unfold by itself and just be sort of channeled through you is really powerful, and it makes it a lot more enjoyable as well to do.
True. Yeah. Yeah. And it's like my coach Kay used to say, it's like little bites of the elephant. So I think it's not a major thing that you have to do a lot, really. I think it's just like you were saying, put it into your routine a little bit every day, like a little bit of meditation every day, a little bit of energy work, or whatever it is that appeals to you. And then it's cumulative, so over a period of time you will start to have compounded results. So yeah, just even a few minutes a day can change your life over time. And we're advocates for it. Is that the word? My dyslexia always makes me second guess. But yeah, anything else you want to say on this? Anything that comes to, I don't know. I could talk a lot more, but I'm worried about. I'm not worried. It's the wrong word, but I don't want to oversaturate. And we've got plenty of time on the podcast. So,
My brain's just done that thing where it's like
switch off.
It's just white noise.
It's white noise. Okay, cool. Well, we'll finish. Yeah. Nice one. Well,
The end.
The end. We love you. We love you, and like that's what it's all about. I love you, and well done for everything you are, and just sending out that love. That true, deep warm heart to everyone. Love you.
Love you.